Now, I would be the first person to say you shouldn't worry about it at all. Let's say Danny and Clive. Danny and Clive are the two biggest Hollywood superstars in the world. Maybe they are juiced up. Maybe they're not juiced up. If you just get to the point in your life where you think, you know what, I don't give a flub, and you focus on you. Time Man on the board, AO here. Thank you for joining me as always. And I know if you have clicked this video, I don't know why you've done it. If you're one of the people that's going to go in the comments and say, Simon, this is really old. I understand that, but I've been away here, there, and everywhere over the last week or so, and I only just saw it, and I thought it told such an important message from someone when it comes to YouTube who is incredibly important that it was doubly important to mention it again, because my word, it ties into fitness, it ties into mental health, it ties into social media, all the things that I like to chat about. And of course, we are talking about Pewdiepie, the king of YouTube, and he basically made a video talking about steroids and talking about fitness influencers, and my man Josh Brett made a video about this recently as well, which I was very happy to contribute to, and how the stuff that they're saying can screw a bunch of people up, because it can.
Master Chief, Johnny Bravo, Goku, they're all on steroids. I feel like if you mention this, a lot of people will go, well, obviously, duh. Like, everyone in the fitness bubble knows it. But if you think about, in general, how many people know about steroid usage and how common it is?
So straight away, we're only like 15 seconds into the video, 30 seconds, and he says something that really is, it's one of the detriments of YouTube, right? There's a lot of gatekeepers when it comes to any kind of a niche, whether it's fitness, whether it's wrestling, whether it's music, metal, whatever the hell you want to throw in there, Batman, comic books, because what happens is, you say something, and somebody hears it and goes,
well, that's really obvious.
It's like the whole calories in, calories out thing.
Why are you still talking about that?
I'll tell you why. While it's fantastic that you have educated yourself and you have learned and you have all the experience, there's a bunch of people out there that don't. And I'm not going to name names now, but even over the holidays and I was seeing friends and family, sometimes like people ask me questions that I think are super duper obvious, but they don't know because they haven't gone out there and they haven't learned about it, and they're relying on people like me or whoever to pass the information that I have learned across to them. And it's the same with this, right? So many people will see, I'm not going to name any names because it's not worth it. YouTube's a crazy place anywhere at the moment, but you know the obvious ones. Big Hollywood actors that all of a sudden get jacked up for a movie. Some people genuinely think it comes down to simply where you got to work harder and you got to eat your chicken and veg. And I'm sure there are some instances where that has happened, right? I'm never going to tar everybody with the same brush because I don't think it's fair. But by the same token, I'm also sure that there's a bunch of times where it isn't true and there's something else coming into play. We'll call them super sweets, where all of a sudden they are able to make these incredible body transformations within 6 months. And all this does, as we have talked about before, is set a precedent to people that they're never going to be able to hit. However, if they do look at their favorite superstar and go, well, I know what's going on here, and of course people are still working hard, they're still dedicated, they are still absolutely disciplined, sure, take those attributes, but when you know, okay, I ain't taking the super sweets, so there's a level I'm going to get to, do you know how that important that is for your brain? Now, I would be the first person to say you shouldn't worry about it at all. Let's say Danny and Clive. Danny and Clive are the two biggest Hollywood superstars in the world. Maybe they are juiced up, maybe they're not juiced up. If you just get to the point in your life where you think, you know what, I don't give a flub, and you focus on you, and it sounds cheesy, but it's true, you focus on your fitness journey, that is going to help you so much, because all that happens is that you look better tomorrow than you did today. And that's not realistic either, because you're not going to see any changes in 24 hours. As we have just started a brand new year, all that matters is that you look and feel better in January 2022 than you did in January 2021. And here's a news flash for you as well. Even if you don't, that's all right as well. Hands up if you've woken up one day and gone, I don't feel very good. If your hand has gone down, you are lying and you probably feel worse than the rest of us. So you're always going to have times, even if you do love going to the gym and love fitness, where you don't achieve your goals. But never forget, ticking a box on your life plan is just as important as crossing something out, because ironically, coming from me, we are going to have ups and we are going to have downs.
We don't know because he doesn't talk about it. That's the whole point. There's no transparency.
Transparency is the key word with all of this, right? But I do understand. Of course I understand. If you were a Hollywood superstar, you're a Hollywood actor, and maybe one of you listening will become that. If your job was to look a certain way on screen, you will have heard this on many fitness influencers' channels. But if that's your job and you know you can go on something for a short amount of time, which is going to protect your health, because usually, the health problems come with long-term use or abusive use, but that's another video for a different time. But of course you're going to do that, because we're talking about movie studios that are, risking or betting millions and trillions of dollars and hoping to get that back. And if you know you have to turn up on, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 of a shoot and look a certain way, and you have the medical team around you to ensure you are okay, you're going to do it. Of course you're going to do it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't do it now. No one believes me, but hey, what are you going to do? I look terrible at the moment. Check the video out tomorrow. But the point is this: if I knew I had a medical team around me that was sort of tracking my every step and knew that I wasn't sending myself into an early grave, I would do it. I mean, the only reason not to do it is because it can be dangerous. But if all of your vitals, let's go with, are being monitored and your cholesterol's okay and your endocrine system isn't being screwed up, then you're basically just turning yourself, it's like a Jerry Seinfeld joke when he talks about painkillers and how as a human race we said, look, just invent something or come up with something, the highest possible dose that will kill us and then knock it off a little bit. And that's what you want to kind of do with your human body, especially if you're into the gym. That's the fear, right? If somebody released something tomorrow that was a safe steroid, I mean, question it straight away because it won't be true. But let's say in this fictional world, there was scientific banging, all of a sudden more people are going to jump onto it. But yeah, it's the transparency thing, which is why if you can get to a place where you just don't give a flub, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your favorite Instagrammer is on something. It doesn't matter if your favorite film star is on something. It doesn't matter if your mate down the gym is on something. All that matters is that you have made your choices and you know you're just in competition with yourself. And that is massively important. I talk to people all the time who are going to the gym and they love it, but they just feel like they're having their ass kicked because they're not seeing the same kind of gains as everybody else, even though the fact they're making gains on their own is all that matters.
And that's why I think it's important, and not to, make myself high and mighty, but I do think it's important for someone like me who has an audience that isn't necessarily into fitness to bring attention to this kind of thing. Because what I find is that in the industry, it seems like most people in some way are engaging with steroids. Everyone sees it. It's obvious to all these people.
That's another reason I just think it's really good. I don't have the same platform as Pewdiepie. Of course I don't. That would be one of my life goals that we just talked about. But him mentioning it to his 2.5 million people have seen that video, and given that he's got 111 million subscribers, you have to imagine over the time more and more people will see it, and it's just good to get it in their brain, even if we're wrong. Let's go back to Dan and Clive, or whatever I called them. Dan isn't on, but we think he is. As long as you have, the information in your brain, you can then make the right kind of choices. Because I'm a weird guy, and I just want everyone to be happy.
And if you think that, this kind of steroid use is the thing of the past, I got bad news for you. It's probably more prevalent than ever. You go on Instagram and you got 18-year-olds looking like fucking orcs.
And it probably is more prevalent now. I mean, like most things are, because of the internet. The rise of the internet has made things so much easier to get. There are websites out there that will just send them to you. And they're not hidden away on the dark web. They're just there. Now, another thing that people don't realize, and I know because, again, I've had these conversations, is they think just because it's labeled up a certain way, that's what you're going to get, which isn't true at all. You cannot trust a label on these things. I mean, who are you going to complain to if you get something else then start to suffer massive side effects? You're going to go to the police? Of course you're not going to go to the police. And what are they going to do? They ain't going to be able to do anything. So that's something else. If you decide you do want to do it, which you're allowed to do, it's your life. Nobody should, well, again, you should educate yourself, but no one, especially idiots like me, should go, no, you shouldn't do it because, what leg do I have to stand on? That's not fair at all. But don't just think, it's not Amazon. This is what people think. It's not Amazon at all. These are underground labs and you don't know what's going on. So you may pick one after doing all your research, but what turns up is something else completely different, which is another reason why you have to tread carefully.
Especially when these Instagram influencers are selling their epic workout routines. Bro, just use my code and you can also look like me. Like, shut the up.
And that is another problem too. Like, it really, really is. If you buy somebody's workout routine, and now that I am slowly getting back into the gym after my surgery, I plan to buy a lot of these routines and test them out to see what they're like. We did one on the Ryan Humston. I thought it was quite good, or at least I quite enjoyed doing it. That's the issue. When you monetize this stuff, like if somebody like Noel Dizel, I can never pronounce his name, so you'll have to forgive me. Sorry, Noel, if you see this. If you bought a program from him, he will tell you, ain't gonna look like me unless you go on stuff. And it's nice. Again, it's nice to get that honesty, and you can kind of find, where you sit in the fitness world. But if you're quite young and you see mostly people on Instagram, paying 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks for my supplements or for my plan, and you're going to look like me, you're not going to look like them. And even if you did take something, you're still not going to look like them because you are not them. And it sounds like such a silly thing to say, but I know because I've done it back in the day. I used to look at, hulking people and think, well, if I work out for long enough, I'm going to look like that. And here I am. Do a lot of them? No. I'm nowhere close, like nowhere close at all. And what happens after that is everyone does get into this sort of fight, like he's on steroids and that guy's on steroids and everybody's on steroids but me. And you just get down about it. I've already said this. I'm not going to say it again, but hopefully you take my point.
People want to see him big. You see all the comments on this Instagram post and like, I can't wait to fucking see how big your muscles are on Thor. It's going to be fucking awesome. Like, can you really blame him?
That's another awesome point too. We want to see people look like that. Like one of the most searched for terms, not one of the search, but it comes up a lot, right? Is Chris Hemsworth Thor 4 body. Or workout or diet. That's why, you know, a bunch of fitness magazines and publications will go out and talk about this kind of stuff. And I'm not going to put it in this video, I don't think, but PewDiePie even talks about Chris Hemsworth's Center app, which is his fitness app. Actually, the stuff on there is pretty good. And I do think some of the pictures he used are probably when he's not toucan stuff. If he does, who the hell knows? But, you know, it's still a gray area, and it's certainly still one that you have to tightrope walk and be quite careful with. But yeah, I know when I go to a Marvel movie, I want to see super jacked up dudes. That's how I got into wrestling back in the day. It's one of the reasons I started working out, because I saw people like Triple H, like, that guy looks amazing. So I started watching wrestling and I started going to the gym. And then, yes, you just have to put yourself into a position where you understand what is going on. And that's the same with all walks of life. That's not exclusive to fitness and bodybuilding and weightlifting, whatever the hell you want to call it. No matter what kind of stuff you're going to throw yourself into, there's always going to be a somewhat of a negative side, which again, it's all on you. Don't be influenced by these crazy people, which includes me. Don't be influenced by anyone, or at least build up trust and then be influenced by them.
And I don't want to go into, you know, is it good, is it bad? My whole point about this video is the lack of transparency, and I really do have an issue with it.
And he's hit the nail on the head too. Like, I don't think, you know, PewDiePie spouting this out if you've decided to take steroids is all of a sudden going to stop you. But I do think tempering your expectations, I guess, is the message I want to get across. Just temper your expectations. It's going to come down to your genetics too, really. And everyone goes nuts in the comments, oh, genetics. It does come down to your genetics. If you want to get mad, go yell at your parents. Think I want to be bald? Think I wake up every day and go, oh, sweet, I get to shave my head again? No, I would love to have the choice of having a shaven head, but I would also like to have the choice of having some hair or even long, luxurious hair like I used to have in my younger days. But that's my lot. That's what I was dealt. And of course, it can be hard to deal with, especially if you get super duper into fitness, but there's got to be a line. And if you walk over that line and you find that all of a sudden you are creating a negative situation, a negative atmosphere around something that's meant to provide you with good times, happy super duper good times, you probably need to rethink, to be completely honest. And it's especially when it comes to bodybuilding and lifting weights, especially even more so if you start to wear it like an affectation. Like you're the guy that goes to school or go to work with a lunchbox every day. You're the big guy, and people say, hey, big man, and you go to the gym, and when you turn up the place, it's, oh, have you bought your meals? Have you bought your protein? It can get a little bit annoying, but deep down you actually like that. I can understand. I totally get it. So all of a sudden you think your body image needs to look a certain way, like you need to be projecting to these people. And some people, you know, use it for their ego too, because, you know, you'll turn up and people will go, oh my gosh, your biceps and your legs back, they look so great. And that's where they get their self-worth from. That's a bad path as well. Your self-worth has to come from within and not what other people are saying. It doesn't mean that you can't enjoy a compliment or two. Of course you can. In fact, some people even struggle with that for the same reason. But you have to have a self-worth meter, and that self-worth will drop every now and then, but it has to come from within. Because what if you get injured? What if all of a sudden you have some kind of illness where you can't eat properly? What if you just can't straight up go to the gym for a while? Again, I haven't been able to go to the gym for 4 weeks, and I had another problem with my wound. Don't even worry about it. But I lost a ton of weight, and I can only start going back to the gym soon, and I'm terrified about it. I'm absolutely terrified, but again, that's a video for later in the week. So the whole point of this is take it on board and put it in your brain, because it can be a slippery slope and it can be quite dangerous, which is why when I do get catalysts like this that allow me to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it because I've been there. I have been in the doldrums when it came to my fitness and when it came to going to the gym, which should never be the way, because it's one of my greatest passions. So if you know deep down in your tootsie toes and in your tum-tum that you're heading in that direction, just change it. It's not like a light switch. There's a light switch over there. It takes some time. It takes some brain refocusing, but do it and never forget what's important in this life. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the bell ding dings. You know what other videos going live. There is another video on the screen. Please do give it a click. And again, supplements that I enjoy and I think will help you. GrillerMind.com/Simon. Use code Simon to get 10% off across the entire site. I'm also in Greg Doucette's Power 13 cookbook. Link in the description with another code. And that's a diet to try and allow you to have a sustainable, healthy diet, which is absolutely going to help you in the gym before you get to anything else that's crazy. I also have a Patreon, patreon.com/Simon316, because the videos, as of yet, don't do crazy views, but always believe, dream big. So that's a way to support it. Same with my merchandise, simonmiller.bigcartel.com. Come follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Simon316. And I also have a Cameo. So if you want a pep talk, you want a motivational message, you want a birthday message, a bar mitzvah message, a delayed Christmas message, which would be weird, whatever the hell it would be, I'm happy to do that for you. They are quite cheap. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Believe in yourself, and I'll speak to you soon.